In the final conclusion, to which the world will shortly come, the author of these pages firmly believes that the elements herein given will enter as integers, as portions in part absolutely essential to the perfect structure. Plato, not unlike many of our modern savants, seems to have been sorely troubled, not so much in providing the immortality of the soul as in assigning it to a proper habitation after death. But the soul, like the body, must have a home, he thought, and so he concluded to locate that home within the boundaries of the New Atlantis Isle, situated, nobody, not even the great thinker himself, knew where. The same difficulty presents itself today. 1,000 theories, or more properly speaking, hypotheses, are now afloat on the surface of the general mind concerning the locality of the divine city of spirits, the home of departed souls. The great majority of these suppositions are too material, crude, shallow, and baseless on their very faces to even challenge the attention of the thinker for a single moment. Others are too far-fetched, and not one of them all is there but presents itself in the face of dozens of objects from every one of the 10,000 objectors. That this assertion may not appear groundless and seem to be dictated by improper reasoning, let us merely glance at these theories held by people who claim to know most about matter, spiritualists. One of the lights of this class gravely informs us that the spiritual world is located quite a distance from the other side of the Milky Way. He and his disciples affirm that the spirits can and do come back to earth daily, that our desires draw them, and that they, being there and feeling us drawn them, instantly quit the land of bliss and flit towards us, accomplishing the distance in no time at all, which very indefinite period we may safely assume that there is 3 or 4 hours, more or less. Now, light coming from the nearest fixed star at the rate of 200,000 miles a minute cannot reach us in less than 18 years, while light from any other star on the further side of the great belt of the sun requires a period too vast for us to comprehend, ere it can gladden our eyes. The spirit dwelling, according to this school, lies beyond even those vastly distant orbs. Supposing, however, that it exists in the neighborhood of the nearest star, any spirit who gets there after the journey of 3 hours must travel through space not less than the rate of 12,387 millions of miles during every second of the awful journey, a speed that would annihilate any being less than God himself. What an idea! The next theory is that the spirit's home is a sort of an aerial belt circumvolving our globe. Said belt is 50 miles thick. Spirits live on its upper surface, which is very like this on earth, seeing that it has cities, houses, streets, waters, oceans, rivers, trees, beasts, birds, and reptiles. At the poles of the earth, according to this school, there are certain openings or large holes through which spirits come down just when it suits them to do so. When they depart, hence they go head up. Of course, when they come to us, they must approach head foremost, or their feet towards their home, a very immodest way for some spirits to travel, if their dignity of their sex is still retained, and a very undignified mode of traveling for philosophers and magnates who so often talk at us through the lips of modern Iulists. This theory is somewhat unsatisfactory, but mainly on the grounds of its materiality, for it seems to make the second life but a new edition of the first one. Of the two, the first theory is incomparably the more magnificent and grand. The fault is that it is too much so, for it removes us at one leap from the condition of humanity and at once endows us with the attributes and powers of veritable gods. The next hypothesis concerning the matter is, this world, our globe, is and must and will be for all eternity the abiding place and scene of activity of all mankind, whoever have been or will be born on it, though all past and all the future ages. According to this school, if I may so dignify it, spirits are here dwelling among us, taking note of all the things that occur, are eating, drinking, and doing all that we do. Now, there is common sense and reasonableness in these latter notions, for of the many guesses at the truth they come nearest to the mark. The faults which the theory has are, however, very bad ones. For, first, it materializes the soul. Second, it confines it here, nor even permits it to leave its prison to roam the starry fields. And, third, it does injustice to God and his omnipotence, inasmuch as it practically doubts his providence, limits his power, and assumes that he was incompetent to provide spiritual homes for spiritual beings, and was compelled to make this a double world. If a spirit occupies any space at all, then if this theory to be true, not only is the surface above the ground one compact mass of spirits, but they are from piles extending far higher than our loftiest mountains. For, since men have begun to die, they have continued to pass away at the rate of scores of millions every year for at least 100 centuries. I could not help disposing of this doctrine by means of argumentum ad absurdum, for it was, ever will be, totally unworthy of any more respectful treatment, and yet, as said before, it contains far more truth than others, as will very shortly be, if not already herein seen. People who lived in the days of Plato, Thales, and the great men of the olden time could not have had the same notions that we have, could not understand many of the wonders which we, in this age, fully comprehend. They could not conceive of a balloon, railroad, locomotive, steamship, photo picture, or telegraph, for the very plain and simple reason that the human brain had not, as a general thing, then unfolded many of its wonderful and mighty powers. Its immense capacities were as yet nascent, latent still. True, the seeds of all that has been since proved were there, but in embryo only. In other words, the soul had not the requisite brain organs, though which it could familiarize itself with all or any of the marvelous things just it knew.